Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Matty Goldberg. Boys, what's going on in your worlds?
You tell me, brother.
I'll tell you what's going on in your world.
I'm going to Vegas next week.
What for?
Right.
Hackmania.
Is it official? Did you book your tickets yet?
Well, I have a hotel for about 5 or 6 days, and then
Is it non-refundable?
No, it's refundable. But I think I'm going.
Until you buy something non-refundable, I'm not believing you.
Yeah.
Going, so
I think I'm in.
you think you're in?
You think you're in? Maddie's got one
Luke
toe
is supposed to
dipped in
join
right
me.
now.
If you can.
I might join you. There's a good
You should.
chance. There's a good chance I could be there for a few days.
It's gotta be
My wife
pretty
will hate
wild,
me because I
from
never
what I
have
hear.
weekends off, and then it's like, hey, honey, I got a weekend off, but I'm gonna go hang out with my male friend in a hotel room in
Well,
Vegas.
doesn't your
Watch
doesn't
it.
your-
Hope
doesn't your
a
wife do
derelict
like
drunkard shows up so we can
Yeah.
all laugh at him. That is the whole.
Well, it's not just him. The guy Joey C is supposed to show up, and people are already starting fights with him, so he's gonna throw
So
down.
for those listening, Maddie, explain the situation, what we're going to potentially see.
It's
there.
called Hackmania. It's a thing called the Dabbleverse, which is adjacent to Stuttering John. If I could describe it in a sentence, it's podcasts that are dedicated to trolling Stuttering John, who are in wars with each other. So it's like this podcast war where, and then you never know who's friends with each other because two podcasts can align with each other because like your enemy is my enemy, therefore we're friends. But it all kind of stems around from the hatred of Stuttering John. And he is not on the bill, but he is saying he is going down to Vegas that weekend. He will be there. He's not saying why. He's just saying he's going to take care of business. And he knows certain people's addresses. Not a threat.
Take care
though.
of business.
He
Not
says
a
not
threat.
a threat.
This explains nothing, but also everything at the same time somehow.
I can't believe it. Like, I don't even like if I end up going, I don't even want to tell my coworkers. Be like, "Oh, you're going to Vegas?
What for?
Wow, what clubs are you going to? What are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna go see Ray
This will
DeVito." And oh, Maddie's froze.
College.
Matt,
you froze up, Maddie. You froze up for a second.
Am I back?
You're back now, baby.
Okay, it's just your connection on Steele. So I did a college paper on ECW when I was in college.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You're freezing out
was like-
again.
I was like, there's not a college degree or like in the audience, or that was one of my lines or something. But this will be like fat guys. I'm going to say the ratio of men to women is going to be probably 60-1.
This is
probably
like more
70 to
unappealing
0.
than like going for like you going to Vegas for a Dungeons and Dragons contest
Yeah.
or whatever.
There's got to be a woman
Luke,
there.
I
that
would
if
100%. I would do that. That'd be fun.
Have you
as fuck.
played
Is that
there?
a
I
rock
feel like
club?
you would.
I have.
There's
I
got to
have.
be a woman that works there or somebody's wife that will be there. So I think it'll be like 100-1 women, 70-1. But it's a 3-day thing.
I
There's
wouldn't
a
want
bunch
you
of-
know they're gonna take pictures of someone's wife and post them up like check out
Yeah.
this slut whore that came to this thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna wear a hat because I don't want
relentless.
to be trolled there. But I'm going like kind of incognito. There's a comedy contest, and my buddy's like, "You should go up." I'm like, "No, I'm just a spectator. I just
Well,
want to
feel it out,
Yeah.
Maddie. Maybe
Matt,
the crowd will be receptive.
I
Maybe you
understand.
could win some money.
You
The
should
thing is,
wear.
they wanna
You should
shit
wear a
on
disguise,
people.
Maddie. You should wear a disguise.
Trust me, they just want to shit on people. So like, they had a Dabbleverse event in Atlantic City, Super Bowl Sunday, and we had fights. There's like videotapes of fights in the casino. It's wild that it was the Borgata, that the security there had to learn about the Dabbleverse. Like, they probably have like maybe a couple fights a year, and there was like 5 or 6 in a matter of 2 days, and they had to learn about the Dabbleverse, which is hysterical.
That
Maddie,
video Kevin
Yeah,
Brennan had
careful.
was hilarious because he's
think it's
just
a step
rushing
up
in on
of,
people and they're
going
throwing
to-
drinks at him. And
Yeah. I think it's a step up of going to spring league football, though, I will say.
Well, that's it, man.
Wow.
You're dead to me. You're dead to me. Maddie.
Wow. Maddie, who hurt you? Why do you gotta say such mean things like
I
that?
just like busting Jim's chops.
You're dead to me, Maddie. Dead to
Jim,
me.
what's going on with you? You gotta
Well,
be up to something semi cooler than this.
I was gonna tell Maddie to be careful and wear a disguise because I think 2 or 3 times ago when I was in Vegas, you know how I wear all these Hawaiian shirts and
Yeah.
people can actually watch them. So I only packed Hawaiian shirts when I went, and
Mhm.
there was a huge Proud Boy rally going on. All those guys were wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Well, there you
So
go.
I come down the elevator, I see everyone wearing Hawaiian shirts. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then I just see the Proud Boy logo on all their shirts, and I'm just like, motherfucker. Good thing I also packed at least one
Yeah.
T-shirt. I'm gonna go change.
Well, why do all the
Well,
Proud Boys want to look like Magnum PI? I don't
I
get it.
don't know, but they all were like I had
what
just shit.
hotel were you in?
This was the Golden Nugget.
I
Exactly.
don't know, but can you even
Yeah,
take them
I'm
seriously when they're wearing Hawaiian
yeah,
shirts?
I'm
It's
saying
like,
I'm
okay.
But
saying that
Luke,
the
it wasn't that was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and this was 21. I think you guys might remember. It was right after I shaved my beard and my head. So
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Oh yeah,
no,
you
I
look
was
like a big penis thing.
yeah. So walking around with that, with the Hawaiian shirt, with all the Proud Boys, I was like, damn, I really fit in here. This sucks.
He came out from his basement.
yeah,
Well, what's
Vegas has got some interesting, always interesting characters, especially rodeo week.
oh
I've been
yeah.
there many times. Rodeo week.
That sounds awesome. I'd love to go for rodeo week.
Yeah,
I love those
but I
cowgirls and those
imagine
tight
I'll have
fitting
fun.
jeans.
And Jim, aren't you going to a game this weekend or next weekend or?
No, in the next month, Maddie. So I
Oh,
just got my tickets to the UFL championship game in St. Louis today. They went on sale. I booked that. I'm going to be on the 50-yard line. Now it's the only thing I have to do is get media passes. But we got the UFL playoffs locked into place.
What
It's
did
going
that
to
cost you to get on the 50-yard line at the UFL?
$100.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
For the Super Bowl of the UFL?
Well, you could get like some actual like high up tickets for like $8. So like they're pretty cheap. Tickets are cheap.
Wow. Well, how much was a
Tickets are cheap.
box? How much was a suite?
Ah, dude, that I don't know. I
It was
still don't even
probably
know.
125. You should have gone up, man.
You can't enjoy the game from a box.
Next to Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
They're gonna be on the field the whole time
All right. We'll
with the
see.
security detail. But we got the playoffs locked in for the UFL. It's Battlehawks, Brahmas, and it's Stallions, Panthers. So Luke's Michigan Panthers
rest of the
actually have a
games
shot.
Oh yeah, the ghost of Anthony Carter returns.
So the rest of the games meaningless because
Well, I mean, technically, like whoever has the worst record will get the first pick in the draft.
yeah,
But basically, I mean, it'll be for players to like. I suggested, I'm going to keep suggesting that for the teams that aren't in the playoffs, give the younger guys a shot, let them get some film because there's guys that like Jordan Tomu and Luis Perez who are on teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs, but those guys are like spring league lifers. Give the young guys a shot to get some film out there and maybe get on an NFL
we
squad.
need some new blood.
Yeah.
Well, like Luis Perez does still lead the league in rush and like not rush in passing yards. So like he's still good for these leagues. He's bounced around so many NFL teams. I just think his like eventually you just kind of wear out your welcome in the NFL.
When do playoffs start? This week or 2 weeks?
So we've got we just had week 8, so we got week 9, week 10, and then it's the playoffs. So 3 weeks from now.
It probably sucks for the ratings that they already have the playoffs kind of set in stone.
Potentially, my bigger thing with the ratings, my worry for it is because they started so late, and now that we're getting into the summer, people are like going outside and doing things and not watching as many sports.
March Madness.
Potentially they did. I don't know. Like,
I mean,
maybe.
what else are you gonna watch?
It's like either this or NBA or NHL. Really,
is there no Euro Cup this year?
I don't know.
Euro Cup should be soon.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
CFL preseason starts this week.
Okay, well that's exciting.
What about Eurovision?
That just ended.
All right. Did you watch
I was
Eurovision?
gonna say I don't have the rundown.
I got a little bit of it. I saw that the Netherlands got banned, and then I saw that Sweden won.
I've only seen it a little bit in a Russian barber shop once. They were all watching it. Yeah. It's a very bizarre event. Oh my god.
It's pretty cool.
Did you ever see that Will Ferrell movie that was based that?
Yes.
It was really funny. I forget. But
Eurovision, Maddie, is like all the countries in Europe and somehow Australia compete. They get like one song a country to represent their country, and they just all compete for like fan
Oh, I
votes.
saw that. It was horrible.
Oh, Eurovision's fun.
It was the worst movie I ever saw.
Oh, that with
Oh,
the
the
Will Ferrell
movie.
one?
Yeah, it was
Oh, it
terrible.
was funny, dude.
Well,
it was
Eurovision's
horrible.
a real thing, man.
No, it sucked. It was a Rachel McAdams, right?
Yeah, it was
What a
funny.
waste. What a waste of her and Will Ferrell. I tried to get into it. I was like, you know what's funny? Somebody told me it was an amazing movie, and they were like, "You got to watch it." And I'm like, "I'll watch it." And now it's coming.
Did you
back
watch it
to me.
alone?
I did, and it sucked.
Of course, you watched it alone. See,
It
if you
was
watched
so
it with
boring.
somebody that was fun,
I didn't
you would have had a
laugh
good time.
once.
Yeah, but Maddie, you
whoever
don't
the
laugh
person
in
that
it.
told me to watch it, I'll tell it was great because it was a girl.
Nah, you got to watch that kind of shit with someone you like that's fun. You know, you can't like there's certain movies. I don't know, like Napoleon Dynamite. When I see that with people, I laugh. When I don't see it without people, I don't laugh. You know, it's
Yes,
just kind of a
same.
strange
I
thing.
think it's a funny movie. Eurovision sucked.
Well, I was
Maddie,
saying,
why are you such a hater today?
It sucked.
You
Maddie,
hate
I was saying
everything.
that Eurovision's like a real thing. Like Eurovision is a thing.
I get it, but the movie sucked.
That's fair. But does
It was
the event
boring.
suck?
It didn't make me laugh, and I didn't care about anybody.
Brutal commentary. But the UFL's been excellent. We're gearing up
I'm
for
happy to
playoffs.
hear
I'm
it.
hype.
All
I'm
right,
very happy for you.
Maddie, you're pissed all of a sudden. What happened?
I'm not pissed.
We brought up that
I'm
Will
like-
Ferrell movie, and you've
I'm
just
a
been a different
Celtics
man ever
fan.
since.
The Celtics are not, they're tied right now with the Pacers.
Oh, that's what's going on.
It's fine. I mean,
That's what's going on.
if I bet tonight, I would have bet on the Pacers. I mean, they were getting 10 points. That's way too many points. The Celtics are overvalued. They're a good team. They're not a great team, and they've had such an easy road to the conference finals. If they were in the West, I don't even think they'd be a 5. Like they could beat a 5 seed.
Yeah,
You think they would have lost to the Lakers?
I think they would have lost to the Wolves. They would have lost to the Nuggets, to Dallas, and Oklahoma.
Damn.
Well, Vegas has them as the betting favorites now.
Well, they have the easiest road because but the Pacers are peaking. The Pacers are very good. The Pacers really took it to the Knicks. They got better as the series has gone on.
Rick Carlisle's a good coach too.
Very good coach. Yeah,
he did well with the Pistons. He got a chip with Dallas. So,
and it's been fun watching Minnesota. They got a lot of heart. It's fun to watch Anthony Edwards. Sunday night was.
So, what'd you guys think of that game?
It was great. Down 18, everybody was.
It wasn't like one of the best games you've ever seen.
Not the best I've ever seen, but it was a good game.
Well, as far as like a 20-point comeback in a game 7, I mean, that's pretty
it was
amazing.
great.
On the road.
They had a lot of heart.
On the road.
2 road teams winning game 7 is like a unicorn in sports.
Yeah. It's true. Well, they say in the NBA, it is actually not as big of a difference. Like the road team actually wins a lot more in game 7s. The normal. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Nuggets coach kind of fucked up playing Joker for 46 minutes.
I think he panicked.
So he had 3 players play over 40 minutes.
Yeah, they really.
Wolves had Anthony Edwards play over 40. That's one. But my God, and the Denver bench, they just shore up that bench a little bit. I think they'll be fine.
It's so hard to repeat.
Michael Porter Jr. can't hit a fucking shot sometimes to save his life.
Anytime a team wins a championship, we just kind of assume like, oh, they're going to be a dynasty. It doesn't work that way. There's such a hangover. It's so hard to emotionally do it again. Very few teams repeat. Very, very few teams become a dynasty. So do I think Denver will win another championship with Jokic? Probably, but they're not a dynasty and not yet. And, it's hard to repeat.
Yeah, they're the hunted now too.
Yes, they are.
And that's the fucking West is loaded too. Between Doncic and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is in the next 2-3 years will be in the NBA Finals, I think, at some point.
If they don't fuck it up.
They're getting
better.
If
they don't, I think they got to replace Josh Giddey, find a nice point guard. But other than that, if Chip and everybody else keeps progressing, they're going to do fantastic.
Well, it's scary because they did fuck it up once, I mean,
Yeah.
they had three of the great players of their time, and they got to one finals, and then they broke it up, and
Well, the funny thing too is, as great as those players are, they're all head cases.
yes, they are, and
So
they're not very
that's
good.
like
They're all
there is
very good
the
in the
talent
playoffs.
unmatched, but God, these guys, if you follow their careers, are just all over the place,
Yeah,
and not what you would think. You'd think these guys would probably have 5, 6 championships between all of them, and they have like one. So
yeah.
it's
They have one on a team that was loaded in the first place.
right that could have won without him.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, we'll see. I don't know. Definitely interested. I want to. Anthony Edwards was very funny because he played like dog shit in that game, and then was just being cocky as fuck. It was the
He
funniest
still made
thing.
some big shots, though.
He did. He made. He kind of helped get the turnaround started. He hit a
Yeah.
breakaway. He did some good things for sure, but shooting percentage wise was very terrible. Um, I'm real curious about the Dallas though. I'm not quite sure what this team is exactly.
Yeah, I'm
And I
not
think when
either.
they're playing, and Kyrie's play has been fantastic. He's been such a great facilitator.
Yeah, we'll
And,
see.
and
We'll see.
yeah,
It should be a good series.
I'm
I'm
looking
thinking
yeah.
forward
it's
to it.
gonna go 7.
You think it's gonna go 7? What do you think, Jim?
I think both series go 7.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mavericks in 7, and I'm gonna go Celtics in 6.
I'm
Yes.
going Wolves in 7, and sadly, I'm going Pacers in 7.
All right. I'm
Maddie,
going.
you're so down on the Celtics team.
I know them.
They are a good team. Like,
Yeah, they're a good team. They're not a great team. They're not a championship team, and I know I'm gonna get killed for saying this, but I think Jason Tatum's the most overrated superstar in the NBA. He carries himself like he's won 4 championships. Like, you haven't won shit, and the year you made it to the championship versus Golden State, you stunk up the joint. Like, you beyond stunk up the joint. You're not Kobe yet. You're not Jordan. Win a championship, and then you can act like you're that guy. Sorry.
I'm gonna roll with the Mavericks winning the whole thing just because I feel like Luka's the best player left in the whole.
I'm gonna say Minnesota has a championship for the first time since the Twins in 1991. I was thinking
Wow.
it's got to be for a city or a state with all four, like a sport in football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I'm gonna think Minnesota has the worst sports city as far as championships are like in the last 30 years. I can't think of a worse city that's won shit.
Yeah.
Maybe Seattle.
I was gonna say Carolina, but the Hurricanes have been decent, haven't they?
The Canes won.
Yeah.
At least the
Panthers made it.
They've been to 2 Super Bowls.
The college teams do well in
Charlotte
basketball.
stinks in basketball, but Minnesota, like,
They got nothing.
nothing. I mean, look at Boston. Boston, I think, has 6 Patriots, 4 Red Sox, 1 Celtics, 1 Bruins in the last 30 years. That's 12 championships. That's a lot compared to Minnesota. Chicago has, I think, 2 or 3 Blackhawks, 1 Cubs, no football.
And definitely no White Sox.
Yeah, so they got 3 or 4, but Minnesota has nothing in the last 30 years. They have, like, the Vikings choked with Randy Moss that one year versus the Falcons. They haven't been very good. They choked with Brett Favre.
The Twins
have been awful. The Twins are okay. They
the
lose to the
Timberwolves have been
Yankees.
awful. Sorry,
The Timberwolves have been absolutely awful, and then the Wild have just been okay. So, if you can
Well,
think
they
of a
even
worse sports city
lost
in
a
30
hockey
years,
team. So when did they lose the Stars?
91 or 92.
Wow. Okay.
So
And
a
then they
little
got
over 30 years
like
ago.
94, 95, actually. They made the
Ah.
Stanley Cup in 91. They lost to the Penguins.
Wow. Okay.
From you.
Interesting.
Even Pittsburgh is Tampa Bay has won a bunch of championships, hockey. The Rays have gotten close. The Bucks won a championship. But Minnesota's probably the worst sports.
Arizona?
Arizona has championship appearances. Last year the Diamondbacks,
Yeah.
the Cardinals lost in 2008. That's
No, the
pretty bad.
Diamondbacks
But
won in the beginning of the century there.
the Suns almost won,
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it was the
but they didn't.
Diamondbacks with Randy Johnson.
The Suns should have won.
Yeah.
Who they lose to? It was a couple years ago.
No, they never. Were you
They
talking
lost
about
to
when
the
they
Bucks.
lost to? Oh, that
Yeah.
one. Oh, yeah. That's when like everybody was people hurt on their team. A lot?
They were up 2-1. No, they just fell apart.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Well, the Celtics are
I
losing.
totally forgot about that series.
I knew they were going to lose. I should have bet
Maddie,
against
it's the third quarter.
It
Stop
doesn't
being a
matter.
maniac.
It's the only part of the game that doesn't matter, Maddie. It's the third quarter.
It's the fourth quarter that matters, man.
If
Look,
Nebraska
they're
was
only down by
3,
2.
now they're down by 5. If Nebraska was down by
No,
4
they're down by
in
2.
the
They just
second
hit a
half,
3.
you'd be crying.
Yes, Maddie, that's football. That's
Maddie,
football.
come on.
Whatever.
No watching sports while we're talking.
By the
about
way,
sports,
you know
Maddie.
what's pissing me off? These WNBA girls are continually to attack Caitlin Clark. Like they're like pissed because her team has like a charter flights and other teams don't fly as good or something, and they're like taking shots at her. It's like, you're all gonna get those because of her. Shut your mouth.
Who's speaking badly about her, Maddie? I don't.
Some girl on the Connecticut or something, just like, well, we fly, we take this type of flight, they take this type of flight. It's like, she's going to give you guys, like, why would you shit on the person that's going to make you more money and make the league more money? I've never seen this before, this jealousy. Women are
never
more
seen jealousy
jealous
before,
than men.
Maddie?
Yes, I have, and women are more jealous. Do you think I'm jealous of XFL Jim and his Hawaiian Proud Boy shirts? Fuck no.
Should be. You fucking
You
should
think
be.
Cain
Maddie.
was jealous of Abel? This goes back to biblical times,
No.
Maddie.
I don't think Cain was
This doesn't
jealous
start
of
with
his brother,
WNBA.
Undertaker.
This goes back through human history.
Are they jealous of Caitlin Clark and her 0-4 Indiana Fever?
Yes, because she gets all the attention.
I mean, that's like her reward was going to a shitty team. That's how every number one picks is.
How many losses in a row do they have to have before the attention stops?
None. They're gonna give her a few years to be the star that she is.
Well, Wembanyama was on a shit San Antonio team this year, and he got nothing. I mean, you couldn't turn on ESPN without like, or Wembanyama does this, and then you look and they lost by 30.
And you know what? Every guy in the NBA is like, there was not one guy in the NBA that shit on him. There wasn't.
Because
like, wow,
he's not.
Got tons of talent.
Because this is unparalleled in WNBA. No one has ever talked about a player like this.
That is true.
Because there's been no excitement for a player entering the WNBA like this. Not even close.
And it's good for them.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so like against it. It makes no sense.
The nature of the beast, man. They build you up. They want to tear you down.
Women are so much more jealous than men.
You think so?
It's just a fact. Watch The Bachelor, watch The Bachelorette.
It is funny watching the Bachelorette when all the dudes just want to hang out.
Yeah,
like there'll be women that are upset because the guys all just want to go hang out and do stuff.
They want to take their shirts off and play football at the beach,
right?
And show off their 12 packs.
The girls just like, he's not paying attention to. No one's paying attention to me.
Are they like going, so and so is bullying me? I've been bullied by so and so. We had a spread and there was shrimp, and she didn't give me any shrimp, and I feel very bullied. Dumb hoes.
Yeah. So imagine like that's how they act in that circumstance. So then there's a new hotshot girl coming in who hasn't done shit in the league yet and is getting way more attention than you.
Yeah, but you go, wow, this is really good. Our ratings are up, which means I'm flying like commercial. We'll probably all go to like private planes very soon because of her, because the money's gonna distribute everywhere. This is great.
Maddie, the Celtics are back up again, or you can get back into a good.
You get hype now.
Yeah, my penis just got hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to find who the fucking sports person was saying it. We might have talked about it last week, but there was some sports personality that was saying that the WNBA needs to make it easier for Caitlin Clark.
No, I did read an article that someone
like actually said that.
I
Well,
read
keep
article that a
losing and get
columnist.
another number one draft pick.
I'll tell you
That's
this.
how you make it easier.
This is a crazy story. A columnist wrote that because of Harrison Butker's speech, that the Chiefs should fire him and hire the kicker for Villanova, the girl kicker.
Are you sure that wasn't parody?
No,
and this was a trusted sports source.
no, I think it was
This
more
was
of
like,
it was a real
Adam
story.
Schefter or somebody.
Yeah, it was Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
All Shefty up to his tricks.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm. It was Max Kellerman.
Oh, well, there you go. That's it.
I don't know. It was a story though.
Okay, I'm sure it sounds like a real story.
Would you agree with it? Do you agree with it?
I think
anything can be printed on the fucking internet. So.
I think if the Chiefs did that as a troll, it would be funny. I would.
But you know what's funny though? Oh, the Harrison Butker thing has been all over the place since last week.
You know what'd be funny about it? Because Pat Mahomes is like, yeah, I don't agree with it. I don't like it. We don't talk, whatever. That'd be funny if they're like, okay, well, we're gonna cut Butker. We're gonna bring in the girl kicker. I would imagine like game one, he'd like kickoff is like 10 yards. She misses a 25-yard field goal. He'd be like, get Butker back right the fucking way.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? So there was a claim. Someone's claiming that. So ever since this, though, Harrison Butker has been the talk of the town, and so his jersey shot up the charts as far as people buying it. So
yeah.
So Jim, I think if you go back to Vegas and there's a Proud Boy rally, just don't wear a Harrison Butker jersey, and I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
There's also somebody on TikTok was talking about him. They said, "Oh, you don't like gay pride? Well, what about you hooking up with that male cheerleader at Georgia Tech?"
Yeah, I did see
really
that.
Happen?
I don't know. I've been waiting for more tea.
Allegedly.
Well, every once in a while.
One user wrote, "Oh, so we getting messy."
Mm-hmm.
This is about as good as the article Maddie was quoting.
Yeah. Look,
I saw girls on TikTok that were like showing off their kicking highlights from high school.
Well, the thing about Harrison Butker is like,
I would watch that.
I don't agree with his comments. They're kind of silly, but I also don't think it's like a store. Like it's like, yeah, there's guys that think like that. Like, as long as he's a decent teammate and he kicks, what do you care? Like just because his views.
Well, I'll say this: as far as the team goes, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
You now have people that might hate you because you're talking about these comments that could be perceived as being bigoted and backwards thinking. And you're sort of alienating half of your audience when you do that.
What about Taylor Swift?
As a business, she's the most popular person on the planet. I don't give a fuck if a few misogynists named Maddie Goldberg never want to see her. I don't care. She's still good for it, and myself too. I'm sick of it too, but she's the most popular person on the planet.
How do you think about Friday football this year? There's the first Friday game ever.
Oh, okay.
I hate. I mean, the NFL can do whatever it wants, but like,
dude, they're gonna trust me. They'll find a way to cast a game in your dreams.
What was it? Streaming service that totally tanked? Remember they rolled it out a few years ago, like
Quibi, where it was like 15-minute films or something, or
they should just put games on that.
And Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi, anything.
No, Tubi's great. I love Tubi.
I love Tubi as well.
Quibi's the one that was like the Jeffrey Katzenberg dream thing that just
I remember
fucking collapsed. There was shows on there that you would think were parodies.
I know.
And you're like, oh my God, this is a real actress who people respect doing this show on Quibi that like people were just, those were the glory days of streaming when anybody could just have an idea and make millions.
For the Patriots documentary, I really wanted to see it and I didn't want buy Apple, but I wanted to see it. So I bought Apple. I had it for 2 months. I canceled it. those $20. So it's like enough of these companies know, like, hey, people forget to cancel. If it's $10 a month, most people forget to cancel. It's a good investment to for them, but it's just so horrible to us fans to do this to us.
Yeah.
Jim don't care. He's a scumbag.
I liked Fridays for high school football, I'll be honest.
I know. That's
Well,
why it's
the
like
game is in Brazil.
you're breaching the, you're like, this is for this and that, and now you want every fucking day,
They're playing during the college football playoffs and bowl season and all that shit too.
Yeah.
What I think what they're gonna do is when the season does go to 18 games, I would imagine every team will play one game in Europe and like one game in South America eventually. So they'll get like 8 home games, 8 away games, and then they'll play 2 games that are like neutral sites. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be good for the NFL. I know they don't care because the product is so good. We just love it so much. But
players are going to be you might need to have another like a legitimate backup quarterback and like legitimate backup players just for all the injuries and to give your players resting time.
I agree.
They might need to increase roster size.
Yeah, that'll be good. It'll be good for the spring league too.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that every team is going to play 2 games and like one in Europe, one in South America.
Put one in Japan.
That
would probably happen.
They would go nuts.
Would Sepultura be the halftime show if they play in Brazil?
That would be awesome. Them and the Ramones.
You mean the Ramon?
The Ramones were the most popular band in Brazil ever. They played stadiums, like soccer stadiums.
Oh, Faith No More is like that down there.
Did you know there's massive. A video? I saw Ramones. There's a video. Maybe I could find it online. When the Ramones all hated each other and they never talked to each other, and they're sitting in a van, being transported from like the venue to the hotel or the airport in like South America, and they don't say a word to each other, and they're just sitting there like this. No.
Patrick Mahomes and Harrison Butker.
Yeah, but here's the thing: there's thousands of people banging on the windows, and you would think they'd be like react. They don't fucking react at all. They don't talk to each other. They don't react. It was the weirdest thing ever because there's thousands of fans just banging on the windows, chasing the van, and they're just like this, stoic, not a word to each other.
That's because they're punk rockers participating in a major business, and they got to go out.
If you do go to Vegas, we will go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, the Punk Rock Hall.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to do that for sure.
And the Ramones were cool band. That's all I got to say.
I've heard of them.
Rock and Roll High School. Greatest movie of all time. Did you know there was a sequel? And did you know who the star of the movie was?
No.
Was it called Hip Hop Middle School?
No, it was Rock and Roll High School too. It was the great Corey Feldman.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. You know, Maddie, that I had a buddy pitch when I showed him our script battle, the bands. He wanted to go to Shout, who owns Rock and Roll High School. He goes, he wanted to pitch it to him as a modern Rock and Roll High School.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing if anybody gave a shit about rock and roll in 2024.
That pilot is not dead, and we will sell it, and we will be millionaires.
Gonna hit the big time, baby. The big time.
And we do. We're gonna fly Jim out here to party with us.
Yeah,
damn right, son.
Dude, I got
sushi off of Jim's naked body.
Jim, I got to meet you.
It'll happen, Maddie.
What if we fall in love?
Ooh. Did you think about that, Jim?
Harrison Butker style.
Would that be good for the show's chemistry?
Yes. Although I think E-Rock in Detroit will be jealous.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't know if this. I want to keep this sexual tension going. I don't want to like cut it.
Celtics are up by 9. They fucking suck.
All right, you guys want to talk about our movie?
Can
I just recommend that Yankees documentary?
Okay, so let's cover this next week.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna
give a log line of this, and then we'll get to the
I'll say it real fast. So when I
name of the movie, Maddie, what's the name?
It's called The Bronx Zoo 1990.
Awesome.
and it's a documentary about the 1990 season Yankees, and they kind of preface like, you think about pinstripe glory and dynasties and DiMaggio, Garrick, Ruth, Mantle, Maris, the Jeter, the 70s had Thurman Munson and Reggie. This is not that. And it wasn't. It was a very bad team with a very dysfunctional stuff going on behind the scenes. And it was very disturbing. It was extremely disturbing, and it was up there with the most disturbing Dark Side of the Rings I've seen. That's all I'll preface it. It was very fascinating.
All right. So tune in. We'll be talking about that next
It's
week.
on Peacock.
It's on Peacock. And
Yeah.
the thing you sent me was on YouTube. Was that just a trailer for it?
That was a trailer, yeah.
Okay.
It's 3
I'll
parts.
find out.
I watched it. It was one of those things where I watched it like before I go to sleep, and then it's in your head, and then like I fell asleep for like a couple hours, and I had to watch the rest because it was It was like, how does this fucking end? Like, this is so crazy.
All right.
So-
Well, we'll be talking about that next week. This week, we're talking about the feel-good movie of the year.
Yeah.
The Iron Claw.
A family movie.
Family movie, family business, brothers getting along.
Yeah.
And dying horrible deaths. So I kind of go through the chronology.
Dark Side. I was waiting for the Dark Side.
I know. I still want to just play the Dark Side theme just because
You can.
it's dark. I know no one's gonna stop me, and I'll play it. Von Erich. Did we do the Von Erichs on the Dark Side here?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
we did.
I think we
every
did.
episode,
I
yeah.
feel like we missed. I guess
Which
it was just,
I
but
did
it's
really
been a long
like
time though. We've been doing this for a while, so I can't. I don't remember.
This is
all of it.
year
really
4,
love that
Luke. Crazy.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you people are familiar with the Von Erich story. I think we're all in consensus about the great performances in this one.
I think
Probably not.
everyone did a really good job. I think the
Yes.
performances were the best part of the movie.
Yes.
Zac Efron, especially, I feel like did a really good job.
He did. I was shocked. He really brought it. Maddie, what did you think? You had some qualms. with
I
this
have
one.
mixed feelings. I think aesthetically it's very beautiful.
Mhm.
I think the casting was very good except for Ric Flair. I thought the Ric Flair was very puzzling because there's 1,000 people I know who do a great impression of
Yeah.
Ric Flair, and that guy didn't sound at all like Ric Flair, which was weird. Like he didn't
Right.
even have his, Rick has certain beats and he has a
Yeah.
lisp,
Yeah.
and they like that guy. It just wasn't Ric Flair.
Right.
There's like, so that was odd. And
But they should have just had Will Ferrell do it, like how
I
he
had a
was in
problem.
Eastbound and Down.
I had a problem with the movie because there is a lot of tragedy, but from what I've always known about the Von Erichs and kind of knowing about the Von Erichs, like I always go to like my childhood, which I know annoys Jim.
No.
My mother would go grocery shopping, and I would go. I don't know, Luke, you probably experienced this, where your parents would go grocery shopping, and there always was a magazine section at the grocery store.
Oh man,
And
I know this. I have
Yeah.
this feeling too. I did that all the time. Yeah.
So I didn't know what the Von Erichs were because we had WWF on the East Coast. So you would like open these magazines and it was just the Von Erichs. And I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And they were so
Right.
popular. And I think the movie missed that these fuckers were bigger than the Cowboys. These
Yeah.
guys were that you just kind of feel like they're minor league wrestlers. You don't get to feel like how massively popular they were. And that like I had to rewatch The Dark Side of the Ring, and even like Kevin, who's the only one alive, was like, I've had a tragic life, but like I also had a great life. Like the
Yeah.
times that we were doing our thing, we were having a fucking blast. And I know there was a lot of pressure with the dad, but it doesn't get into any of like that celebrity life of like they own fucking Texas.
Yeah.
and it
I
doesn't
actually
get
I had
into
to
the
I
sort of
stopped the
story.
movie at one point to explain a few of these things to my wife
Exactly.
because she
Yeah.
had no idea because all of the matches take place in this little, sportatorium or
Sportatorium.
sportatorium. So
Yeah.
you don't there's nothing with scale. Weren't they at like the Cotton Bowl and stuff?
They
And
almost sold out the Cotton Ball. They almost sold out Cowboy Stadium, but
right, you
they
didn't get a
did
you
because
didn't get a sense of the scale for this
people are
too.
sitting on the floor. So there's 50,000 people at these matches, and they were like the kings of Texas. They
Yeah,
were
it's just
celebrities.
like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, so this, there's four brothers that die in this movie, or there's three of them that die in this movie.
Well,
They left a
four, but they
brother
didn't
out.
even one they cut out.
One they
Yeah, one
kind
they
of
cut out.
combined with Carrie because it was similar circumstances as far as a
Yeah, but
suicide.
Carrie is a whole different story. It makes
No,
no
I
sense.
know. No, this was Kevin's story though. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
The
this
thing,
is all
the
about
problem
Kevin.
is once the deaths start, it's just this slow grind down, and
Yeah.
it's still a good story, and it's still it is, but you have to know it's not a wrestling movie. This is Kevin's story
Sure.
of, you're being surrounded. You have these four brothers with you. You lost a brother when you were a child already. Then you have this full house. Like I didn't have siblings, but I was always jealous of people that had multiple siblings, and the house was always loud and rambunctious. I was an only child. I was just very quiet and alone growing up. And so I couldn't imagine going from having this large family to having virtually no family. And this was, and one thing too, I didn't realize this was only over 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the deaths of the four brothers happened over 3 years. It wasn't like a 10-year period or
No.
15. This was 3 years. So you go from everything to nothing in that time.
Well, the other thing too is like one of the stories is that Kerry Von Erich goes to the WWF,
Right.
and Vince does this very odd thing where he's like, he was the Texas Tornado. He wasn't a Von Erich. They tried to hide it for some reason. Vince didn't want him to be a Von Erich, which is odd, but that's Vince's
Yeah.
thinking. And I'm like, how do you not have this in the movie of like, one of the reasons why he did feel like suicidal, and there was a lot of pressure. It was like you're going to the East Coast, you got to live in the East Coast. It's a wrestling place where you perform every night where he doesn't even have a foot, and there was an incredible pressure in the WWF, and he was the Intercontinental Champion, so he succeeded there. How do you not have that in the movie?
Well, that's another problem too. The scale was too, the scope was too big for that. Like
Yeah,
you can't go through each brother and sort of tell more. Each brother almost should have had their own story, like
sure.
um to me the story was mainly just Kevin and all this tragedy that's happening
and
Yeah.
around
him kind
him.
of like dealing with it and how it affected him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also confusing because usually there's the villain, so they don't really know if the father's the villain or not.
They try to
Like,
make him the villain.
but
Kevin
they don't.
disputes that though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they half-assed he's the villain. If you're gonna make him
Well,
the villain,
my
go all the
wife thought
way.
he was the
Well,
villain in the movie. I'll say that.
I
Like
mean, he was the closest thing the
the
movie
villain was
had
the
to a villain.
curse, Maddie.
Yeah, like
The
The
curse.
curse of the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
the dad was the closest thing they had to a villain.
And there's no curse. The dad was a hard ass. The dad pushed those kids way too hard, and they
Well,
couldn't live up to a lot of
and they
shit.
came in. So they came into an age of wrestling when I like. So he was in the 50s, and I don't know what
Yeah.
wrestling was like in the 50s, but I
And they
doubt it
hit
was
his
like you're
Nazi
on the road
character
for
too.
365 days a
No.
year fighting through all these things. I think the demand level on these wrestlers was raised so much by the time his son started wrestling
Yeah.
that my wife's like it's the dad, and I go, no, it's wrestling. Wrestling does
Yeah.
this shit to people.
Yes.
And the demand, like you get an injury and you can't take time off, or you
No.
couldn't back in those
No.
days, and you have to keep going, and that's how you get hooked on painkillers, and then your life gets turmoil from that.
Like once you tap out a little, they see you as you're not good enough. You're done.
Yeah.
That it's as simple as that. Like once they see you as like you're soft because you have like an injury of some sort, that it better be like you better be in the hospital with like your leg in a cast to miss a night.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no IR in wrestling.
No,
No,
it really is.
No, they probably have it better today. They're probably rep better and whatnot. But yeah,
I mean,
back in the
remembering the
day,
Brian
you were
Pillman
just a
one.
fucking farm animal to them. They'll pull you
Yeah,
and push you where they need you. and-
Brian Pillman was taking an IV out of his leg to go in the ring and wrestle, and then like putting it like that's insane.
It was fun seeing a lot of the people we've covered through Dark Side in
Yeah.
there, though. They
Gino.
had
It was.
Gino and Bruiser Brody was the
And
first
that's the
one.
thing. It's like they didn't do a good job with those guys because they were in it for so little. MJF was in it for so little.
Who did
Um,
MJF play?
He played the fake Von Erich, which he kind of was cut out of it.
Oh, that's what we're supposed to be Fritz's brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
or his nephew or his cousin.
Oh, his
like,
nephew. Okay.
yeah, something
I
stupid.
think I missed that.
But
yeah.
it kind of showed that like Kevin wasn't feeling it, like he was jaded because it was like it wasn't his real brothers.
Yeah.
And there was some really nice performances. The shots were nice. You got to learn about the little guy, the skinny guy that wanted to play music. I didn't know
That was so sad.
That
Oh my
was sad.
God.
You know what our movie reminded me of? You ever remember Dead Poet Society?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a
Where
long
the kid
time.
was in the play and then the dad
Right, yeah.
so mad he was in a play, so he killed himself. He kind of had that tragic like feeling about him where he was like pushed into the family business with no skills and it was too much and but they wanted to please their father. It just there was things that were kind of loose that
Yeah, I think a problem. I mean, I don't know the truth on this all enough, but when you're Fritz von Erich and now your income and your livelihood is tied into your sons in this von Erich machine, it's really not a good thing.
No.
It's dangerous. That's a dangerous combo.
You're
Right.
also
So where
vicariously
does the
chasing
dad
the title.
concern begin and the owner, I want to make money, end? Like,
And you're chasing a title that you never won because you are a bad guy and you're trying to live it through your kids. And I just think like I understand Kevin's point. I mean, it's probably he seems like a great guy and he's on a lot of the dark side of the rings and he's always very he's very thoughtful about what he says about everybody and he seems very loved. And I don't think he had a problem with like his dad being like, well, you're not going to win the championship. Like I always felt like he was just happy to be there with his brothers.
I mean, they did make him look super supportive, even when he wasn't getting chances he thought he was.
Yeah.
And they showed him that he was not good on the mic to begin with anyway.
Well, David was probably the best wrestler for sure.
Yeah.
As far as like the whole package of what a wrestler is, size, mic skills, and Kerry was the best looking, but he was a fucking disaster.
It's hard not to be. I couldn't imagine like working on an amputation back in those days.
Kerry was like cut though. It was insane. Nobody else
guy
looked like that dude.
Well, an Olympic athlete, bro.
So
I didn't know that he was
Shameless, and he was like a little twerp on Shameless.
Oh, he's 5'7", that guy.
And then he went on the Bear.
Jeremy Allen White.
Oh, but women love that guy.
Oh, they love him.
Oh
he's hot as fuck.
They love it. My wife loved him when he was on Shameless. She's like,
and she must have loved him with his giant muscles. He has a face that like it's like Ryan Gosling is like perfectly chiseled.
Yes.
Got like this this manly face of like it's a bizarre like unconventional hotness.
Well, I think it's his droopy eyes too. There's some like this sort of sad eye look almost. I don't know.
And he's a nephew of Gene Wilder.
I can see
Is he, or is that just clickbait? I keep seeing that in my thing.
That's what I see, but I don't know if that's true.
I keep seeing that in clickbait. I don't want to click. Yeah. Jim, are you investigating?
I'm looking up right now. No, they're not related.
Right? Yeah, because they show their faces and they do kind of look alike.
They look very similar.
Yeah.
Why did I get fooled by that?
Because you a sucker. But
look,
hey,
I'm honestly, you know what it's like. There's books I read or there's stories. So like the Motley Crue book is one of my favorite books. Yeah. And I'm like, what if like Paul Thomas Anderson or Martin Scorsese directed this? it would be a masterpiece. Instead, no offense, I love Jeff Tremaine. I love Jackass. Jeff Tremaine directed it. It was very bad. It was very
Well, the
It was
whole
very,
production of that was a
yeah.
little TV
But I'm
movie-ish.
saying if you do it right, these are like the best stories. And the Von Erich story is an A+ story that I don't think was done as like a C.
I think that I'll give it a B.
I was gonna give it like a B.
Yeah, because the ending really, it was really moving. The ending, though, I felt when, you know,
When he's talking to his kid.
when he's talking to his
Sure.
kid, and yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
spoilers on the show. So, but like when he's like, "You guys are brothers. I used to be a brother." I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, that's so. I mean,
Look, it's shot beautiful. The last shot of like them
yeah,
playing
it was
football.
really nice. And the thing is, though, is like what when movies have emotion to them, and the thing with this one is it's just when it gets depressing, it's like watching a movie where someone becomes an addict and it just keeps going down,
Yep.
down, 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 and there's no up to it. Like they're just
Yeah.
going until they die. In this movie, it was almost like it was the virgin suicides, just like
Sure.
you're just not going to feel good after you watch
Or
this movie at
Heathers.
all. However, I
Like
did, when you see that this guy went on and had a big giant family, they all lived together,
in Hawaii.
you're like, okay, man, you know what? You can always bounce back to, the worst shit that happens to you. There's,
Yeah.
usually always some hope. And this guy made the most out of what he had left.
It's wild to see him as an old guy because like I still see myself looking at those magazines in the grocery store.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Von Erichs, and you're just like, I mean, they were the kings of wrestling.
I know it's funny that we, northern people like, and I would see them on TBS or whatever once in a while. And it was like you had in the cartoons, you had the Transformers, which were the king, and then you had GoBots.
Yeah.
So everybody outside the WWE felt like GoBots, like
Sure.
maybe we'll be in this. It's not Transformers, but well, it'll entertain us for a little bit.
I remember the GoBots. They were like ghetto Transformers.
Yeah. So that's what every company outside WWE felt like back in the day. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's. I thought there was some. I would have liked to seen them celebrate a little more, like because it's like, oh, Carrie's now made it to WWE, but then it's like nothing.
I would've
Yeah,
loved to
that's
see
all
that.
happening like behind the scenes. It feels
Right, like he
yeah.
comes back without a foot and manages to make it all the way to the top promotion.
And he wrestled
and
for
it was
2
partners with
years.
Ultimate Warrior, right?
I know he wrestled like a good year or two in the WWF, and he was the
Yeah.
Intercontinental Champion. He had a good rivalry with Mr. Perfect. Kurt Hennig was a great wrestler. Yeah, I mean, it would have been fun to see like a fake Vince, like like what we're gonna do is we're not gonna use the Von Erich name. Like that would have been interesting. We're gonna go with the Texas Tornado.
Was that his nickname before he joined WWE?
No.
Okay, it never was. That's so funny because I remember that, but I don't really even remember him in the WWE that much.
Vince maybe he didn't like Fritz or something, but like he did not want to bring him in as a Von Erich. Maybe because they were all dying and he felt like it was like bad for business. I don't know. You'd have to ask Vince. But
dying has never been bad for Vince.
It was always weird because I'm like, oh, that's one of the Von Erichs, and people are like, no, that's the Texas Tornado. I'm like, yeah, he's a Von Erich. And they're like, a what? Because like we didn't get Texas wrestling, so
imagine if you're at a live show and
I bought every pro wrestling illustrated. I knew who he was.
Oh yeah, kick someone in the face with a nub.
Yeah, you should have fought with the nub.
I would have never known too. Like
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. I think you and I were talking on the phone a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't think I ever knew that, or I had
I didn't either.
Forgot it.
He could wrestle too. Like he wrestled well with 1 foot.
Yeah, no, my God, the pain that guy must have been in. Jesus, that poor guy. So, yeah, and so I would have liked to seen a little bit more celebration break up because basically once the deaths start, it just feels like you're in Kevin's nightmare the whole rest of the hour and a half that's left. Yeah, it was too much to try and really do everybody justice and do every story justice. There was just no way that was going to happen, I don't think. But
I
it
would
would
have
have
done
to
a
be
different
more of
way,
a
but
mini series, I think, to
Yeah.
I think a
really.
mini series would have been perfect for this kind of story.
like 10-part.
If you could
Yeah.
probably
Well,
like,
because then you can go more in the up and downs
And
and
you
stuff
start
like
with the
that
father.
too.
You do a
Yeah.
whole first episode
yeah,
just about the dad.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like
then
if
you
you're gonna
can.
just do like a one-off movie, you need to focus more on just one wrestler.
Because in high school too, they were huge. They were all big time football stars. Like they were massive. Like even in high school, they were like everybody knew the Von Erichs were these elite athletes in Texas.
Yeah. Those guys were it's interesting. Maybe they will do
Yeah.
a mini series one day down the road.
Well, I'm making a
Well,
Sandman
the movie did pretty well, I'm sure. I think
Oh, it did
so.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was good. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get more stuff. I still want to see the Chris Colt movie, and I'll be really happy. And then we'll have the Herb Abrams movie with Maddie.
Maddie, yeah.
Just wait till the Ric Flair movie comes out.
Mr. Electricity.
It's just gonna be 2 hours of him twirling his dick. You
Yeah,
never seen a
I just
helicopter?
can't believe how
It's-
bad that guy.
it's
I know
Ric Flair doing meat spin.
that guy who played Ric Flair was so bad. And I
Yeah.
don't blame him. I blame the casting because, dude, I know people that can do amazing Ric Flairs.
Oh yeah, I know. It feels like maybe it was his buddy or something because that guy hadn't really done much else.
Yeah,
Like,
he had no lisp. He had no like the cadence. I mean, Rick
yeah,
doesn't talk fast. He takes his time.
yeah. No, it's such a trip though. But it was fun seeing everything. So next week we will review that Yankees documentary on the very unheralded 1990 team.
And let me tell you, it will make you think like Dark Side of the Ring is like is family stuff. It's
Yeah.
so dark and twisted.
It was funny though. This movie like destroyed my wife. She can't stop thinking about it. And then she's like, "Oh my God, there was even another brother that
I
died."
know. Yeah,
And
you,
it's
you
like
like look
they're
up
like the
story.
director's like, we don't even have room for another death. So
Well, that's the odd thing because the other brother was only like 5'4".
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The
he was
runt?
short. He was like, and he was kind of like a mascot where he'd come in and run in the ring, you know. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. It was just crazy.
Okay. That's a trip. Yeah, I know I'm gonna think more thought or have more ideas about this movie. It's kind of I think it kind of is gonna sit with me for a little while because
Uh,
it's very heartbreaking.
it was absolutely.
I mean, imagine if you're the parents though. You have this nice full house and then it's just nothing. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, you always want to die before your kids.
yeah. Not have all your kids die in a,
Yeah.
3-year span.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, they still got a lot of lineage out of Kevin though. It's like
Yeah, they
13
did.
grandchildren
Mm-hmm.
all living with him in Hawaii. So,
Why
all
not?
right, guys, anything else you want to add this week before we get
No.
out of here?
Celtics up by 1, 10 minutes to go.
All right.
They're gonna win, Matty. You're fine.
You're
All
fine.
right, I'll catch you guys soon. Much
All
love
right.
to the Sports Hole.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys
Later,
next week for another
everybody.
edition of the Sports Hole. Bye-bye.